Good morning once again. You are welcome to More Beyond Farms. Here we bring the knowledge of science closer to your farm. In this episode of our rabbit breeding and genetics series, we have been talking about crossbreeding and the effect of heterosis on crossbreeding. So in today's video, we are going to discuss effect of heterosis in rabbit production. So heterosis has been found to have a positive effect because in crossbreeds many genes are heterozygous that were homozygous in the parent breeds. When we talk about heterozygosity, it means the alleles that controls the genes, they are different. For example, capital A, small a represents heterozygote traits, while small a represents homozygous. So alleles with a negative effect are often recessive. In crossbreeds, these negative recessive alleles are ruled out. The amount of heterosis to be expected for a specific characteristic in a crossbreed of two breeds depends on the number of loci involved and the differences between the two breeds in the relevant allele frequencies at the particular loci. So here we are talking about how using crossbreeding can influence the performance of the progenies. Now let's see some of the motivations for crossbreeding. Heterosis has been found to be one of the reasons to apply crossbreeding of breeds or lines. These effects of dominance are observed in all species and across species. It can be concluded that estimates for heterosis are higher for characteristics with a low heritability and lower for traits with a high heritability. Heterosis is often substantial for fertility and health characteristics that cannot be easily improved by selective breeding due to the low heritability. That means that improvement of health and fertility traits is often an important motivation to apply crossbreeding. So let me give you a typical example. In New Zealand, the cross between Jersey and Holstein Castle has a long history, and from 2000 onwards in North America and in Western Europe, crossbreeding dairy cattle is increasingly applied, and it has been used to enhance the performance of milk-producing cattle. That means in Dutch, research has shown that a cross in different dairy cattle heterosis can be utilized to improve these characteristics that have a strong relationship with longevity and overall performance. The second reason for crossbreeding is to exploit the complementarity of breeds or lines. Combination of the characteristics of two breeds or lines is favorable. For example, in the cross of New Zealand white rabbits and a Dutch rabbit would produce one with higher litter size and higher growth rate. The cross will lead to a more improved rabbit that will be able to withstand diseases and also harsh environmental factors. This gives a higher profitability than keeping a pure breed New Zealand white, or let's say a pure breed Dutch. Basically, what we are saying is that when you are engaging in crossbreeding, it means you want to put together the individual trait performance of the breed together so that the offspring that will come out, it will have benefit from the two traits. For example, if you have a pure breed New Zealand White, which has a faster growth rate but lower litter size, and a Dutch rabbit which has a higher litter size but slower growth rate, then you can crossbreed them such that the progenies or the offspring that will come from that mating or crossing will have a blend of their parents. That is, the offspring will have faster growth rate and also a larger litter size. The third reason is that crossbreeds combine characteristics that cannot easily be improved simultaneously in a single breed. An example is the growth, lean meat, and meat quality in rabbits. These traits are within breeds or lines negatively correlated. Animals with a higher growth of lean meat have a lower score for meat quality, and the reverse is also true. So genes that influence growth of lean meat also influence meat quality, but they have an opposite effect. The last reason for crossbreeding is the protection of the genetic improvements in selection lines of commercial companies. They invest a lot in maintaining animals, recording of traits. By selling only crossbreed animals to farmers, they avoid that competitors can use their purebred parent stock, and selling crossbreeds to farmers generations after generation generates the income for the breeding companies. So at this point, we are going to discuss the different crossbreeding systems and their applicability. So if you are running a breeding program, there are different crossbreeding systems that can be implemented. Mind you, there's a difference between a breeding program or breeding system and a production. When a farmer is into production, it means you are raising the animals to market weight for meat usually, and then you sell them. But when you are running a proper breeding program, it means your focus is to improve the genetic performance of some desirable traits in the population. So with the different breeding systems and their applicability, we will use breeds of rabbits as we have here in Morbion farms. In commercial rabbit farming, breeding selection in specialized lines, which is much more common than selection within breeds. In all crossbreeding systems, before animals are crossed, they are first selected for the relevant traits. Crossbreeding does not make selection redundant. Crossbreeding schemes require a strict implementation by all participants. Hence, crossbreeding is applied for several reasons, and they can only be realized when choosing crossbreeding system is strictly implemented. So in this crossbreeding system, heterosis percentages vary, as can be seen in many breeding programs. In the pure breed cross, the heterosis in the F1 is 100%. In the F1 population, the difference in allele frequencies between the F1 and the one of the parent breed is half the difference between the two parent breeds. This fact means that the F1 mated with one of the parent breeds in a backcross heterosis in F2 is 100%. So now let's take each of the crossbreeding systems one after the other, and then we discuss extensively. The first crossbreeding system we have is two-way cross. two-way cross. It is also known as pure breed crossing. Two breeds are crossed and the offspring is used only for production purposes and is not used for breeding. The first crossbreeding system that we have is the two-way cross or pure breed cross. So in this system, you have pure breed of two different rabbits. For example, you have pure breed New Zealand white and pure breed California. So you cross these two to get your F1 crossbreed individuals. And the F1s are mainly used for production purposes and not for breeding. What it means is that the F1 offsprings are having or expressing hybrid vigor, heterosis, where their performance will be higher than the average performance of their parents, and hence they will grow faster to reach market weight and the farmer can sell them. But the F1 offspring cannot be used for further breeding, because in further breeding both parents will contribute 50% of their genes, and hence their performance will be halved, which will affect all the traits of economic importance in the F1 offsprings. So the full effect of heterosis can be exploited in the F1 offsprings. It requires the maintenance of the pure breeds, both with a breeding program. This system is widely used in dairy cattle and in sheep, in rabbitry and in all other livestock. The females not needed to produce pure breed female replacements are mated to a breed with a high growth and slaughter quality. In this way, the value of the offspring not needed for replacement gets a much higher value compared with a pure breed offspring. So basically, when you are running a two-way crossing, it means you are keeping pure breed individuals as your breeding stock, and then you cross them to get your F1 hybrids. When the F1 hybrids grows to reach market weight within short time, then the farmer sells the F1 offsprings and the production ends there. You cannot use the progenies of the F1 for further breeding. When you do, they will not respond to any growth treatment. The second crossbreeding system that we have is three-way cross. Three-way cross. In this cross, two-way cross females, that is progenies from the F1 generation, that is the hybrids, are crossed to a pure breed male of a third breed. What this means is that in three-way crossing, you have females from the F1 generation, the F1 hybrids. Then you cross them to a pure breed male of a third breed, a breed that is different from the parent that produced the hybrid. So what it means is that, for example, I have a pure, in my breeding system, I have three pure breeds, which are different breeds altogether. So I have a pure breed New Zealand white as my doe 1. I have pure breed California as doe 2. And I have pure breed Havana as doe 3. So the New Zealand white doe crosses with another pure breed back to produce the F1 generation, which will express the crossbreeding vigor. Then the females that will come out from that cross, they will cross with a male which is also a pure breed from a different breed. And in that case, the offspring, the second generation in the cross, is used. This system also expresses full effect of heterosis in the crossbreeding dams, and it can be utilized because the offsprings that will come out will have a better performance than the average performance of their parents. A special case of three-way cross is the mating of female crossbreeds to one of the sires of the parent lines or the parent breeds. This is known as back crossing. So in the